Welcome to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the McDonald All-American, your host, Marcus, living in the building. What's up, Marcus?
What's up, my beautiful people?
That's me screaming for you.
And we got a special guest in here, the founder of Millions of Champions, creating a better, healthier lifestyle for all people, 25 years in the game, 3-time ESPN Miss Champion Fitness of the World, America of the world. Man, give it up for Madison Chase, man. What's up, Madison? How you doing, man?
I'm good. That's like the best intro I've ever had. Thank you.
If somebody else say that to me, I need a check in the mail, Liv.
Oh, yes, I'm gonna put the check in the mail.
I love it, man.
Wow, Madison Chase. Welcome to All Ball Chicago. I'm your host, the McDonald All-American, the NBA veteran.
I feel like you're trying to shake me on the court, Marcus.
That's me with the ball in my hand, Madison. I'm dribbling the ball. Like,
right,
imagine,
you're jerking me. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I hope all is well with you, Madison, and you and your family. And we wanted to get somebody on to talk about health and fitness, and we just couldn't get nobody. And I said, man, I got somebody I know we can get on here and talk. And who better than to do it than yourself, who's been there, done that, who's been doing a lot of great things, training, celebrities to athletes to the average, people, just trying to get them in shape and their wellness and their well-being, teaching them and showing them what to eat and how to work out. So give it up for Madison Chase.
Hey, I left something out though, Liv. I'm sorry. She the only 3-time ESPN champion. The only person to do it 3 times, man. So
there you go.
I'm sorry, I ain't want to slight you or you did. All right, there we go, Liv. Go ahead, big guy.
Okay.
So Madison, tell everybody what you've been up to and what you're doing now.
What have I been up to? I mean, I really think this is a period in time where we as a community really need to come together, right? And I think, for a long time, we have gotten the short end of the stick on so many levels, from, our grocery stores to restaurants that are mostly fast food restaurants in our neighborhood, from the care that we receive in, when we go see a doctor, and having worked in pharmaceutical sales and diabetes and cardiovascular disease, I didn't put that on there. And how we tend to fare in terms of dealing with those diseases. They tend to affect us the most. So dealing with something like COVID or the flu or whatever it is, we tend to handle it and have outcomes that are not so positive. So the one thing that we can do as a community is really take our health into our own hands. And so essentially millionsofchampions.org was built out of the necessity for us to really do it ourselves, do it as a community, do it as a family. And I know when you start to do it as an individual, eventually people are asking, hey, what are you doing? And so that's what's happened to me with a lot of my clients that I've trained, whether they're celebrities or not. They generally people start to see them change. And sometimes the change is not the physical change. Sometimes it's the mindset. And really the mindset is where it starts when you're talking about your food first. And, I have a lot of my clients who are like, oh, well, Madison, my great-great-grandfather used to eat da-da-da-da-da, fill in whatever you want to fill in, But I was like, whatever your great-grandfather was eating way back then is not the same. So really getting an understanding of your food first. Because I could give you all the diets in the world, but if your mindset isn't there, and how you deal with stress and how you rest and how you hydrate and all of those things are so important. And then really trying to get an understanding for how your food is manufactured. Like it's business, we talk about health and wellness as a business. Now food is a whole other business that, once you start talking about it, people want to either quiet you up and, they don't want to talk about it, but that's really some of the things that are really affecting us. So, and then we get to the fitness part, and then we get to the, the body part first, but really taking care of what we put in our mouths and what we allow in our minds is is where it starts for me. And that's kind of what Millions of Champions was birthed out of. Like really also part of it is too, I feel like there is a forgotten, you know, in terms of like fostering kids. I'm not a mother yet, but I do believe there are a lot of children out there who are forgotten, especially in the foster care system, especially Black kids. A lot of them are forgotten. So part of Millions of Champions is building mind, spirit, and body wellness, do-it-yourself health, and then getting those people to understand the importance of what community really is. It starts with our families, it starts with our kids. And if you don't have kids yet, you know, fostering kids to eventually adopt those kids, especially African-American kids, because that is another source where people are forgotten and children are forgotten and our children are forgotten, and we can't forget about our children. So that's what it's combining those two things. It's combining healthy mind, spirit, and body, but then also really encouraging us as families, as Black families, to adopt Black children because they're forgotten.
Yeah, and you're right. You don't hear that being talked about at all, really, pretty much, about, you know, being there for someone who may not have a parent, you know, who's been going from shelter to shelter and not understanding what it's like to have a parent, you know, what it really feels like to be in a home and getting those nutritionist meals that you're talking about, and understanding what it takes to, you know, pretty much survive in this world. And so Madison, I know you were doing your thing so on the fitness. How did you get involved in that? I mean, did you just wake up one day and said, I'm gonna do this, or you was like
one day I'm gonna be a fitness champion? No, I started off as like a really super shy little girl with some jacked up teeth. My teeth were not the cutest, so you know, literally I would laugh like hee. I would laugh like that, and you know how we are in our community. We don't give people a break sometimes, and so. The way I found my expression, and my mom noticed something, you know, when music came on, any kind of music with a beat, I was moving. So my mom started me very early in dance. And so that was like my first love. And then I got braces. Thank goodness. My single mama, she made a sacrifice and got me some braces. And I started doing pageants. You know, I was a dancer from the time that I was like maybe 5 to like 17. And literally from the time that I was like 10, I studied ballet somewhere. Like every summer I would go somewhere from 10 to like maybe 14. And I went to Juilliard. And the first thing I got was a scholarship to Fort Worth Ballet to be one of their principal dancers. And it was a 6-year scholarship, but the program ended up ending. And that's an interesting story too, because when I first auditioned, the audition was simple. Like she was like, put your feet together and see if your knees hit the ground, right? And my hip flexors have always been tight. They didn't hit the ground. And she was like, oh, you'll never be a dancer. And so I cried and cried and cried because I really wanted to be a ballerina. And then I went back like maybe 2 months later and I auditioned for the Nutcracker. And then her husband saw me. And out of thousands of little girls, he was like, I want that little Black girl. He didn't say that little Black girl. But he was like, I want her to be a part of this program. So it was only like 12 of us in this program. It was me and another Black girl. Her name was Denisha. I'll never forget. We were the only 2 little Black girls in this program, but the 6-year scholarship ended up ending. But year after year, summer after that, I started dancing. I went to a private school called Fort Worth Country Day. And they had a dance program because my dance teacher, kind of like how, you know, if you're a great athlete, like that was kind of my athleticism, and that kind of opened the door for me on so many levels, because I went to a private school where, you know, people were coming to school in chauffeurs, you know, like it was that. So yeah. And so after I graduated high school, I thought I wanted to be a dancer, you know, but after I'd done it from like 5 to like 17. And so literally that's a whole dancer's career. Like 12 years is as much as you're going to get. And then I knew if I really wanted to be a dancer, and I think the catalyst was for me, the changing moment was, I remember after I danced in the Nutcracker or something, I was like maybe 11, and there was this principal dancer, and I thought they were amazing. And I used to love Baryshnikov and Rudolph Nureyev, like all of these people. Those were the people I was like fans of. Debbie Allen and Judith Jameson. I was like, ooh, I want to be like them when I grow up. And those are the kind of people that made me nervous. And so when I think we were leaving, we were going through the parking lot, and I saw one of the principal dancers. I saw their car, and it was like all beat up and broke down, had tape on it. And I was like, Mama, is that their car? And she was like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, ooh, they must not make a lot of money.
Right.
So in my head, I was like, bam, like, do I want this for my future? You know what I'm saying? So I think then that was kind of like, it left an impression on me, like, I got to do more than just dance. So went to college as a dance major, got a dance scholarship and an academic scholarship. And I think by that time I kind of knew I didn't want to be a dancer. So I started getting into sales. I had my first job when I was 14, working in retail. So I was a working college student. So I started competing in pageants because I needed to get over my fear of being shy, super shy, you know, publicly, like talking publicly, because dance was kind of how I expressed myself at the time. And so graduated college, and when I was in college, because I changed my major, I started working out and started training people and started teaching fitness. And dancers are pretty vain about their bodies, so it started off, you know, kind of vanity for me. But then when I graduated college and started working in sales and IT sales, I realized I started to miss dance, so I started competing in fitness competitions because it gave me that. I wasn't shy anymore. And now I get to talk, and now I get to, you know, work out and do one-arm push-ups and stuff like that. So it was like
one arm. I can't even do 2-arm push-ups.
You can do it. You can do it. I think you can do it. No one-arm push-ups.
One.
Broad probably could do it.
Now it's gonna be a table right there with my arm leaning on that mug, like Benny Hill used. Nah, that's a.
If you say Benny Hill, that's hysterical.
Yeah, man. Hey, he used to do crazy stuff. But I want to ask you something, man. I you know what, with dance and you know the whole health and fitness stuff within the Black community, don't you think that could be a grassroots foundation to help us get through a lot of the stress that we go through? Because you're talking spiritual and physical. When you combine those two, you become one with who you are. Don't you think we need to go grassroots with this thing all over again?
In terms of like dance and fitness?
Yeah, for even the women and the guys. I mean, they have that dance for guys and stuff. I just don't think that we give kids enough outlet in that area because the arts has been taken away so much from them.
I agree with you, Bob, on that.
You think so, right, Liv? Because in the Park District, when we was growing up, hey, look, I took ballet at college at Jackson State. I'm not afraid to say that.
Oh, good.
I did. I took ballet, man. I was the only guy in there, but I just knew that Walter Payton did it, and he was the great sweet. I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So, hey.
But I think, you know, in terms of like when you see athletes on the field, right, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, when like a football player is trying to reach for the ball, you know what I'm saying? Like that is literally like it's our athletes are dancers in motion, right? You know, a lot of it, like it takes flexibility, it takes strength, it takes, you know, agility. So a lot of it, you know, I think shifting our mindset. Now, I kind of graduated from ballet to doing more like modern, like things that were a little less restrictive in terms, but ballet was definitely a great foundation. I think the thing is, I agree with you. I would love for the arts to be a part of, you know, how we kind of let go and kind of relax and de-stress. I definitely use that. But it's interesting because I know a lot of people here in Texas, they do line dancing. Like that's pretty popular, but I don't know that. And I guess we're kind of seeing like a version of that with all of these challenges on social media where you have, you know, people who are, you know, doing, we got the little girl who created the, I think it was Meg the Stallion challenge, you know, so you have people, like I tried to do one of them challenges, like I was like, I'm a dancer, I could do this. And when I tell you I was sweating like a little, it was a lot. So, I mean, I think that to your point, Robert, there is kind of that. I think it just looks differently now. Like it looks like challenges on, you know,
on
TikTok,
social media,
on social media, or, you know, on YouTube or wherever you are, it looks like that. So I'm watching this live.
Well, I grew up in a house with all sisters, and my mom made them do ballet.
Oh, good.
Do be cheerleaders, twirl the baton, and that was one of the requirements. So you probably pretty much came in that type of same environment then, where they kind of force you in that direction. Real quickly, but I just want to see.
No, go ahead, man.
My mom made my sister and them do that. You're not gonna play a sport, you're gonna do this. And it kind of helped them with their confidence later in life. It seemed like with my sisters, man.
You know what? My mom didn't really have to force me, but also one of the things that it did for me was it exposed me to a lot of things, right? Like I was like the little girl who only ate certain things, and my mom was a single parent, so she was not the mother who's like, you better eat all your food. So she let me kind of like make my own choices, right? And so growing up, I would only eat two things initially. I only ate hamburgers with mustard and pickles, and they had to come from Whataburger because Whataburger would let you make your options, you know. It wasn't like McDonald's because I think they had ketchup and mustard, and I hated ketchup on my hamburgers. And then I would eat pancakes, and that was it. I didn't like chicken because I saw my great-grandfather wring a chicken's neck one time, and I was like, ooh, I'm not going to eat that thing no more. So no chicken. No, I didn't like cheese. I didn't like chocolate. I wish I didn't like chocolate anymore, but I'm learning to kind of do some other things instead of chocolate. But yeah, so I think, you know, in terms of like being exposed, like I was exposed to, you know, eating yogurt now because that's what little ballerinas ate. And then I started eating carrots, you know what I'm saying? And then I started going places that I necessarily wouldn't go had I not been a ballerina. And I'm sure athletes experience the same thing too, right? Like you get exposed to different cultures, you know, especially if you're playing overseas, you know. So like one of the things I like, and people don't talk about it, is borscht soup. It's Russian soup, but it's made with like beets. Like the base of it is beets. It's so good. But you know, had I not lived in California, I probably wouldn't have been exposed to borscht soup. I wouldn't have known anything about borscht soup. So I think you're right that being exposed to like different cultures for me was kind of how I started to embrace all these different kinds of foods.
Right. Yeah, I got a question I want to ask too about, I guess, eating, you know, like when I was an athlete, I'm not an athlete anymore. I didn't gain some weight and all that because I'm now eating just about anything, right? And I need to be conscious of that. But I can remember when I was an athlete and a nutritionist came and talked to us and she broke it down to us as in the car. And I think I said this on one of our shows before, Bob, about, you know, a fancy car. You know, you get this fancy car, you're not going to go to the gas station and put the regular gas in there. You're going to put, you know, the premium. You know, but every now and then you try to cheat the system and say, no, man, my money's short, you know, so I'm just going to put the, you know, this in there and it's going to get you to where you need to go. But then you get back in that car and start it. It won't turn over. You know, you're like, what's going on with my car? It was what you put in your car a week ago, you know, that messed up your engine, you know. So she kind of like put that in perspective as your body, you know. Now they kick your body, you're going to eat donuts. And you're doing this and that, eventually that's going to break down and turn into something inside of your body.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Oh my goodness. It's funny because I started a double A challenge, and it stands for anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, right? Because, and I didn't call it a diet. I said fuel, which is funny that she did that. She gave the analogy of, you know, the gas that you put in your car. And literally, you know, how you fuel your body. And I even talk about like, if you're eating things that are processed, right? Like your body, if the process is done before you put it in your body is not going to have to process it as much, right? Because it's already broken down, whether the chemicals or the ingredients. So your body isn't having to do the work. Your stomach isn't having to break it down. And when your stomach and your acids and all of that is breaking it down, your digestive system isn't working, you know, because the work is already done. So I definitely agree that, you know, for us, I think we hold on to a lot of things from our past because, you know, like some of our friends, they go, oh yeah, my great grandfather is from this country. We're probably the only, you know, Native Black Americans are probably the only people who have to go figure out and get your ancestry because we don't know, you know, like we literally don't know. I haven't done the test because enough Ethiopians tell me and my mama, oh, you look like my cousin. Like, good. Thank you for doing that African ancestry for me. I ain't got to do it. I'm good. So I literally think, you know, in terms of our food and, you know, because we don't know our ancestry, right? And because we don't have things to pass down, whether that's, you know, money, property, jewelry, whatever, you know, that's been stolen from us, because we can't pass that down, literally the only thing we have is, ooh, you know how great grandmama used to make that fried chicken.
Yeah, you're right.
It's mac and cheese. Oh, it's so good. That's all we got.
Or that hot apple pie.
Oh, this hot apple pie. Yes, Marcus. Apple pie.
That damn soul food.
That soul food that would get you closer to your soul if you ain't careful. So I really think it's about, you know, understanding food, like where it comes from, and understanding the business of food, right? Because it's a business, and it is, you know, like a lot of businesses, corruption is involved in it. And so, you know, if you follow the money of food and you follow the business of food, you know, then you'll understand why dairy, like, yes, if you live on a farm and you got your own cows and you want to make your own milk and your own cheese, knock yourself out. If you got your own chickens in your house, because I remember there was, I didn't watch reality television at this time, but it was Tori Spelling, and she was living in Beverly Hills, and she had a chicken in her house, and she was eating. I was like, oh, and the chicken was clean. I was like, they didn't intend on using the chicken as meat. They just used the chicken's eggs. And I'm like, that's probably the only way I would eat chicken. And so I think, you know, the conversation of growing your own food from seeds, I do a podcast called Living Veganish, and it's about, you know, the vegan journey that me and my friend have taken for the last 3 years. And I think sometimes when you talk about being vegan, vegans are so hard. And I think because we need so much grace with the things that have happened to us, you know, historically, and the things that continue to happen to us today, that we need a little bit of grace. Like, give me some grace if I decide today, because it's on sale, I'm gonna eat, you know, especially now, you know, with how people are shopping, like it's a whole other experience, and sometimes you may not want to experience it. So I think, you know, taking that journey is an individual thing, just like, you know, how you work out and how you treat your body and how you treat your temple, and getting back to those things that, you know, we used to do a long time ago, like growing your own food, because you know where it comes from. But my girlfriend Paula was saying she met a neighbor in her neighborhood. She lives in Inglewood now. And this lady has like a garden in her front yard, a garden in her backyard, and literally everything that she's grown came from seeds that she actually ate. And I know there's a young lady, her name is Olympia, and she started this thing called Supreme Market, and she started it in Inglewood, where it's a farmer's market, and you could literally order, you know, a box of fresh fruits and vegetables, ship it to your house. So I think getting back to the things we used to do is so super important. And it really is how you build community, right? Because one of the things that she said was, you know, this lady has so much fruit, so many fruits and vegetables. She was like, there's no way she could eat it. So guess what she has to do? She's got to give it away. And so, you know, I think if we get back to those old things, and then understanding too, like, you know, if your great grandmama used to eat chicken and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, you know, the chicken and the coffee were different. You know, even the coffee's different. And so, you know, all of that stuff is different. So I think it's a lot. It can be overwhelming. And so I think, you know, taking it gradually, you know, with, okay, so I like to eat chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
So if I know that that is kind of my trigger, you know, when I get stressed out, I'm gonna go grab some, you know, whatever it is. But now instead of grabbing chocolate chip cookies, I make brownies from beans. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
taking on a different kind of like, I could still have comfort food where it's good for my body and healing for my body, but it's not going to harm me. Like even you know, Doritos, like we don't even think about, you know, flaming hot Cheetos, like all of that stuff has dye in it, like red number 40, blue number 5, yellow number this, white number that, whatever those numbers are. But if you Google what some of those causes, you know, what happens when you eat a lot of that stuff, migraines, autoimmune disease, like there's so many things that you can't even begin to like really kind of fathom. And you know, if you think about it, like that stuff is cheap. Like you go to the 99-cent store and you're like, I'm gonna clean up, you know, with Doritos and Sour Patch Kids and Red Vines and, you know, all of the stuff that, you know, has all of these things in it that we don't need. And so it's sad to me, and it burdens me, because for us, I feel like we get we're the last ones to get all of the information, right? So we just kind of put band-aids on a gunshot wound. Like it's only gonna do you so good for so long, right? It's gonna stop a little bit of blood, just as much as that band-aid could hold. But eventually, you know, we're seeing us die prematurely, you know, from these diseases like diabetes and, you know, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, hearts and strokes. And so it concerns me, you know, that I want to do something about it. And I think food is where we start.
Let me ask you a question, because I be on some Dr. Sebi, right? So
I love
Dr. Sebi, CB Sebi, I think, I don't know what it is.
CB Sebi, however you want to say.
Potato, tomato. But they say, he says only one disease, and it's mucus. He says,
I haven't heard that. You just taught me something, but go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I was just saying, you never heard that. Okay, then, because he was like, all of the things that we end up dying from starts from mucus, and it's a buildup in our body. So if we watch what we eat, we won't get those mucuses that forms in our body. So he said, it's only one disease, it's mucus.
I so love that.
That's what he said. So it made me stop eating eggs and everything. Oh, that's mucus. Hey,
wow.
Yeah, man. Dr. Sebi,
wow.
Man.
And why you never shared that? You know, why was this the first time you said that?
Because I'm talking to somebody that cares.
Oh, I don't care about my health. Oh,
that's cute.
So that, you know what, that's funny that you say that, because that is literally why my 30-day challenge was anti-inflammatory, right? Because the mucus causes inflammation. Right. So my goal is, you know, let's not talk about the thing we don't want. We're anti-inflammation. So literally everything on the fuel plan is Dr. Sadie inspired. You know, like I'm a huge fan of Dr. Sadie's, and I think had what happened to him not happened to him, that's a whole other story. I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah, like how did he die? He died in jail or something?
You see my eyes?
Yeah, because he's supposed to have the cure to HIV, AIDS, and everything, man. And he just, because he just
see my eyes.
That's big pharmaceutical, man. You know, that's a whole nother world. That's a whole
other story. I don't know exactly what happened to him or what they would like for us to believe happened to him. But I think oftentimes when, you know, people who are trying to disseminate the truth about certain things, you know, if it is causing someone or a group to lose, you know, business or lose money, right? And we are the biggest consumers of a lot of things. So, you know, you have someone, because there's this book, I haven't gotten it yet, but it's called How Not to Die. And he is basically kind of doing what Dr. Sadie did, where he literally is doing kind of like clinical trials on these different diseases. But you're right. I think mucus is definitely, one of those things. And I've always said too, like we have all of these people like fighting. Oh, my friend has this, or I want to start a fund for this, disease, to fight this disease, like there's so many of them, but really, to your point, the root cause of all of it is the mucus. So if we get
mucus.
Where is the mucus?
The mucus is in the food. It's certain foods that cause mucus. And you just cannot. But the money is not in the cure. The money is in the treatment. As long as I can keep you coming in here, I keep treating you. Come back again. What's the Dawn, the NBA, the WNBA girl that takes 17 pills a day?
Lupus. Does she have lupus or?
Yeah, something form of lupus. So it's just like, see, the pills are bills, man. Pills are bills, man.
Oh, pills are bills. That's.
That go Bobby.
Man,
that go Bobby.
I love it. You taught me something today, because I've been saying that. Like I knew anti-inflammatory inflammation, and the inflammation comes from the mucus. And so that's kind of the thing that I've been really focused on. Like even, Dr. Sadie doesn't eat broccoli. He doesn't eat cauliflower. And
now, why is that?
He says that it's a hybrid vegetable and a man-made vegetable. And so even like maybe the last 5 years, like people don't even really consider things that don't have seeds, right? If it doesn't have a seed,
where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
Right.
So we're like, I want to spit the seeds out of my grapes. Why don't you want to spit the seeds? Like you that lazy, you can't like put the seed, like even watermelons. Like it's hard to find grapes with seeds in them. So I don't eat grapes anymore. If it don't have black seeds, watermelons, like I don't eat that anymore. So trying to find these things, but you're growing them on your own. Like we've gotten, like slowly they kind of like get you into this place. Like, oh, it's convenient. This is easy. Is it easy or is it going to cause mucus, right? So,
the number one killer in America is cardiopulmonary disease. Okay. And then you got number 2, I believe that's some respiratory stuff. But then you got number 3, negligence. And negligence being us not making sure we do what we're supposed to do to stick around. And it start with our eating, man.
Come on now.
So, but Bob, why is that? Is it because it's easy for you to go out and get a hamburger, or
a gyro plate leg?
Right. It's like,
I love some gyro, but I ain't had it.
It's almost like a setup to me. Like they put all this in the African American community, the fried chickens, the fast food restaurants. So guess what? Our mind is saying, I don't want to cook today. So I'm just going to go right up here to McDonald's and grab me a burger, some fries, and a Coke.
They call them food deserts now, Liv, in the urban community. Food deserts, because they don't have a healthy choice, man.
And if you do have a healthy choice, like literally you have to drive so far to get it, right? So just think, if you are in a certain income tax bracket, right, and you don't have a car, so you got to take a bus, you know what I'm saying, or you got to take the train. And if you're in a city where rapid transit or like I know the BART or whatever, those transit systems, if you don't have a good transit system, in your city to get there, then who's going to be doing that? Like I know in Dallas, for instance, like I could even begin to, like, things are so spread out. And the same thing in California, like I know from having lived in Cali where if you go down Crenshaw Boulevard, now they're changing it because they got a stadium.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, the football team, y'all got the Raiders?
You got the Rams and the Raiders.
Woo!
You got both of them now. So literally,
both of them.
Literally, what used to be Inglewood is about to be gentrified for sure. And
Well, the Raiders moved now. They're in Vegas.
Oh, they're in Vegas. Okay. I know it's another team. Is it the Rams?
Yeah, the Rams still in Los Angeles. Right.
No, but there's 2 football teams now in LA.
Right.
I'm not sure which ones, but yeah,
But anyhow, I get your point though. We get your point
yeah,
on that. It's like,
yeah.
wow. And
Yeah.
so Madison, let's talk a little bit of sports now, because this is all ball Chicago.
Okay, yes, we can talk sports.
Yeah. Which athlete you like? It could be football,
Okay,
basketball,
yeah.
which athlete do you like seeing, watching him play, or even a female? It can be a female watching her play, or which athlete is that? And what sport?
I tend to really like athletes who are using their platform for the greater good, right? Like literally, I'm not a fan of a lot of people until they're willing to, like what's his name, Marshawn Lynch. I love that he was like, I'm only like, I have a goal, and my goal is to make my community what my community should be, right? And so, for him to, and of course, Colin Kaepernick, people have their opinions about why he did it, but we wouldn't probably be in this situation had he not kneeled. Like he was the spark to light the flame for this movement of people being conscious about what is happening in our communities. Because I think a lot of times people still are, whether it's celebrities, whether it's athletes, like we tend to become so like self-preservation, like I need to preserve my name, I need to preserve my family, I need to be like, but really if we think about what happened, in terms of building community, in terms of what happened pre-segregation, right? Like I think his name is Dr. Claude Anderson, and he was on an interview with the Breakfast Club, and he talked about how, when Rosa Parks was protesting and they started the whole civil rights movement of, Black people not taking the bus anymore, right? It was like, we shouldn't have been protesting sitting in the front of their bus. We should have been protesting owning our own bus. And he was like, there was actually a bus system during that time where they had 500 employees. Wow. Who knew that? Like, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
I saw him on there too.
Yeah, it's a great interview. So I think in terms of, when we look at athletes who really took a stand and how they really transcended the sport, right? Like you got Muhammad Ali who did that, like with Vietnam. And then if you look at too, like what's happening today, like if we look at when these kinds of things, pandemics actually happen, like what actually happened during those times, right? And that's kind of the thing. So that was a long answer to a very short question. But I would say Marshawn Lynch and Colin Kaepernick, and I like LeBron James. I love that, he opened up that school.
Right.
I think, so those are the athletes I like to watch. And I like, Steph Curry, I'm kind of like, because I love his family. I think they're a great example of, Black family, Black culture. Who else do I like? That's pretty much it that I could think of. I like that.
Don't worry.
But don't you appreciate it though that these young people now though, the new millennials, what they call them, are like tearing down the door for opportunity.
I think Marcus and I talked, and he was telling me about the young man who decided to go to an HBCU. So I'm curious to see what happens. And because I went to a predominantly white institution and not an HBCU, a historically Black college university, I think, in terms of reinvigorating and rebuilding our community, it is going to take that. So I'm excited about that young man and what he's going to do. And hopefully that kind of millennial, like really starts to spark us, giving back to HBCUs and making that, a popular trend where, and I also think, I'm a firm believer, I think college athletes should get paid. That's what I think. Just because, I went to the University of Oklahoma, and most of the Black people that were in Norman at the time were on the football team or the basketball team, one of the two. And because this was pre them having the Thunder. So that was literally the only thing you had to do in Norman, in Oklahoma, period. In the entire state was come to a Sooners basketball game. Wow. And those jerseys make that university so much money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, for those kids that are wearing the jersey to only get a free education, you know, it may cost $100,000, maybe $200,000 for that whole, but how many millions are you making from that one person, that one student?
Right.
You know,
shout out to Cali though. Shout out to Cali. Shout out to California saying, NCAA, we're not with you. We're gonna pay them. We had 25 Division I schools down here. We'll start our own league and we'll show you how it's done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did that.
They got 25 Division I schools down there. Cali don't need nobody, do they, Liv?
Oh.
I'm down. So that kind of thing, you know, like I'm down with that. So that's great. Shout out to Cali. I had no idea.
And that's gonna trickle down to other states too. Watch, you know.
It should.
But Madison,
that's like a little. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go first. You go first.
No, I was saying that's kind of like when we have a conversation about reparations. Like that's a little bit of what reparations could look like. Like I think college athletes should get paid. I think Black people should not have to pay taxes. Period. Ever. And if we have had to pay taxes, you need to give me my money back.
I like that too.
I think if you got student loans, the student loan debt should be wiped out.
I like that too. Get those student loans up out of the chair.
Are you trying to run for president, Madison?
You got my vote, damn it.
Wait, but listen, y'all, listen. So a friend of mine told me he was in his PhD from Georgetown University, and Georgetown University realized that that school would not be standing and or surviving had it not been the slaves that really kind of kept the school going, right? So the slaves that helped to keep that university open and running or whatever, they're giving the descendants of those slaves, they get to go to school for free. And I'm like, if Georgetown University can do it, so can these other universities, so can these other corporations where we have started inventions. My girlfriend just posted something on her Instagram page and she was like, oh, I didn't know the cell phone was invented by a Black man. Right. I was like, there are a lot of hidden figures, not just the movie. There are a lot of hidden figures in our history. The fact that we still think Christopher Columbus discovered America, how you gonna discover something that was already here?
Right.
Talk about it. Yeah. I love it.
Okay, so that's it. You're trying to shut me up, but you know I talk this much.
I was saying we
can talk.
Yeah, me and Bob.
We look up and it'll be an hour and a half show. Liv be like, hold on, man. We gotta go, man.
Right. But no, I know, Bob, you gotta go do stuff. You gotta go do some things. But I wanted Madison to talk about some of the things that she's doing online, classes and whatnot. So some of our listeners may want to join in. You know, maybe Bob wants to join in. Maybe I want to join in. You know,
for my class.
Yeah.
So I started doing this class. Originally, it was supposed to be 15 minutes. And it started 15 minutes, and then one of the young ladies that's been taking the class, she was like, Madison, I want it to be longer. And I'm like, okay, we could do 60 minutes. So literally it's a 60-minute, we start with the cardio, and then we kind of work our way up, to full body. And one of the things I enjoy working are the legs, the lower body, because it's our largest muscle group. So I do really focus on the legs, and it's also a cardiovascular workout too, because your heart's got to pump the blood to the lower part of your body. So you're getting a cardio workout as well. And then of course we're focusing on the upper body and then the core and the abs and all that good stuff. So it's a full body workout for 60 minutes, and I do it Monday through Saturday. It's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, and then 12 p.m. East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how would we, find you?
You can find me on my Instagram page, Madison Chase Fitness, or Facebook. I'm official Madison Chase Fitness, and then YouTube, same thing, Madison Chase Fitness. And I just started a TikTok page, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's so much.
Yeah, I have one too, but I don't do.
You definitely gotta have everything, right?
Yeah.
I have one. I got 4 videos on there. I'm trying.
But Madison, I think that is awesome what you're doing. You actually educated me on some things, and Bob did too with the mucus. I mean, Bobby, you can be part of this wellness too, my brother.
You can.
Hey, Liv, man, that's how I lost, man. I'm telling you, 3 months ago, I was 257.
Wow.
4 months ago, I stopped. I just stopped eating the mucus forming food. I said no more. And man, I got on the scale today. My daughter I'm down 30, man. I'm down 30 pounds, dog.
And how long did it take you to do that?
It took me about 3-4 months, man. About 3 months, man, because I took sugar, no red meat, no pop. I just was fish and vegetables and water and stuff like that, man. But I didn't make an announcement. I just did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wasn't like, yeah, man, look at me, man. No, I just did it. And then one day I looked up like, dang, I can tie my shoe.
Wow. Yeah.
Tie my shoe though. Oh, man. Oh,
breathe all hard.
Yeah. And, I was an avid yoga guy. So when the pandemic came, all that weight, man, because, I love beer and I love pizza. So I had to let go of the pizza. I wasn't letting go of the beer though, big dog. I'm sorry.
I remember, hey, Bob, I remember when I first met Madison, right? She's like, Marcus, you should do, is it Bikram or Bikram?
Yeah, Bikram.
That's what
She's like, you got to try it. I was like, I'm not going in no hot place, man.
It'd be hot, man. 107 degrees in that joint, man. But it's something about the feel of exuberation when you come out of there and you complete that class. Everybody feels like, oh, that was just so amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody that come out of there say the same thing.
Yeah.
Really?
But when you in there, oh.
I love it, Robert. So that's pretty exciting. But I also think too, you can still eat pizza. There's a pizza called Amy's Pizza. I only eat it, every now and then, but it has no cheese. It's vegan. It's got roasted vegetables, artichoke hearts. It's one of my favorite pizzas.
What they got at Walmart?
They do actually have it at Walmart. They have it at Walmart and they have it at Sprouts.
Write that down.
It's called Amy's. So you can get.
I love pizza.
Yeah, but it has no cheese. No cheese.
Oh.
He can work with it. He can work with that. He can work with that. Well, Madison, it's always been, great having you on and talking to you. You're my buddy, and we're gonna always be, tight, forever. So anytime you're doing something, and we need to put our heads together and do something too.
I would love to.
Yeah, and giving back, especially in the inner city, so we can set up something. We just need to just keep talking, and things will happen. It'll come into fruition. I know. I believe that because there's a lot of great people in this world that want to do a lot of great things.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they just need the team. They need to put the team together, and everything works itself out. Absolutely.
So I'm following you on social media, so I need to follow you too, Robert. So I'll follow you on.
My content is, I'm all over the place because I'm artistic now.
You're artistic?
Yeah, I'm very artistic, so my content range now. I want to warn you.
He got some of everything going on.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, okay. I keep my hands in everything, Liv. We got to get to that paper. The real paper, man.
I love it. Well, thank you for inviting me to the podcast All About Chicago. I know I didn't talk enough about athletes, but
that's all right.
A little bit.
That's all right. We got a chance to get educated. Sometimes we need to just shut up and listen, and that's what we did today. We wanted to shut up and listen to somebody that can teach us some things, show us some things, talk about some things. I want to ask you one more question, man, before you go. And it's about the water, drinking water. I see this pH 9. What's that all about? Like I go to the regular grocery store and just buy water sometime, and then some lady stopped me one time and said, "No, you shouldn't be drinking that."
So if you think about your largest organ is your body, right? Your skin. So if you were the same analogy that you gave with the car, right? So think about if your body is the thing that functions, and most of it, I don't know the percentage of the water that's in our body, right? but our skin is our largest organ. So what we shower in, right, is important, right? And then what we put in our body, because a lot of our body is made and it functions because of the water, right? So if you're putting bad water in, right, and if you think about what's happening in Michigan, in Flint in particular, right, and the quality of the water that they're getting, we may not have as bad of quality of water, but most of the water that comes out of the hydrant is not good. So making sure that your water, and you talk about mucus, right? And you talk about keeping your body alkaline. So drinking alkaline water matches the alkalinity of our bodies. So essentially you want to match that alkalinity that's inside of your body and what you're putting in it as well. So one of the waters that I drink, which is funny, I just have it right here. Okay. Is, it's not a commercial, but it's Flow water. It is a natural, it's alkaline spring water. And Dr. Sadie talks about drinking spring water. And I like this company because they're based out of Canada. Canada does not have the same whatever, how we do our food and drugs or whatever. Canada does not have the same quality or principle. So, you know, I trust Canadian water. I trust products from Australia and stuff that I actually could grow on my own, because I think there's only 2 countries in the entire world that allow direct to consumer advertising. And that is the United States and New Zealand. And that's it. Nowhere else in the world can pharmaceutical sales companies advertise to consumers. They can't put no commercials on the air, but the United States and New Zealand are the only places that allow that.
Wow. You did it again. You did it again. You dropped it again on us. Flow. Oh, I got to give me some of that water. I got
this from, you could get this from Sprouts.
What about Whole Foods?
Whole Foods will definitely have it. And you could also order it from them too. In Walmart, I don't know. Look, check your website and see. I think the website, their Instagram page is Flow Water.
Okay, I'm gonna check them out.
I'm a fan of theirs because it's 100% naturally alkaline spring water.
Okay.
So keeping your body, you know, without inflammation and keeping it alkaline.
So Madison, you know what you need to do? You need to reach out to Flow.
Oh no, I did. I did when they first came out, because I have something coming up. My birthday is August 3rd, and I wanted to do this this thing when I was in California, and it was about staying hydrated. And so I reached out to them to see if they would, you know, sponsor my event. And, you know, they were new. And so they responded back to me, their marketing team. They're like, hey, whatever you need. I'm like, awesome. So yeah, I have reached out to them. And then I use this video because
there you go.
Rock it out, baby. Rock it out. Shout out to Flow.
Flow water.
Let's go. Get it.
She's doing her dance move, and I do my George Mikan. See, she ended on her dance move, and I'm doing my George Mikan.
That's your George Michael? Is that what you call it?
George Mikan drill. But Madison, again, it was great having you on here, and I really appreciate you. And you know, I got nothing but love for you. And make sure you tell your mom I said hello. And good to have you. All right, what you got, Bob?
God bless you, Madison. Nice meeting you, and thanks for all the health advice, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, and we'll share this on your page too. So if you haven't already did it.
Yep, I shared it so people could come and watch if they wanted to watch us live.
Yeah, because a couple of people was commenting that she knew.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
all right. You want to give shouts out, Bob? You want to give shouts out to the people that was on there? Anybody shout out or no?
Hold on, big guy.
See on there.
I got it playing in about 8 different rooms, y'all.
Oh, man. This dude.
I'm sorry. Mario Harper, Sam Evans, Demorio Parnell, Alicia Nyree, Christian, Patricia. I mean, it's people on here like they checking us out, man. They checking us out. Shout out, man. Thank y'all for watching, man.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for watching.
Chicago, and it's nice outside. Where are you? What town you in?
I'm in Texas, Dallas.
Everything is big in Texas.
It is.
Yes, indeed. Well, man, it's been a good one, man. I am your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed. We had the lovely Madison Chase. We got the legend, the NBA veteran, the McDonald All-American, your host, Marcus Liberty. We up out of here.
Peace. Love you guys.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace. Bye.